This is Antigua, a beautiful Caribbean island that's part of the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. It's known for having 365 beaches, meaning you could visit one every day of the year. These beaches are also home to hundreds of colourful reef fish, seabirds and even turtles and stingrays. And further inland, you can see a range of mammals, birds and reptiles. I have the unbelievable opportunity to go and hopefully see them. I've never been before and I don't know when I'll be back, so hopefully I can take the opportunity and film as many animals as possible. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Animals of the Deep episode, where today we are here in a beautiful Antigua bay. It's called Deep Bay and we have found all these rocks along this bank and we're going to look for some very colourful fish in amongst all the rocks. Let's put our gear on and get in the water. Antigua is home to hundreds of fish species. This is due to loads of coral reefs, different habitats like mangrove forests and seagrass beds, and of course the water is pretty warm. My time in Antigua is obviously limited, so I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to get straight under the water and looking for fish. And it wasn't long before my first incredible encounter. What a start. I've got two different types of damselfish. I got the yellow and blue ones, the most famous ones, and also sergeant majors, which are the white, black and yellow stripy ones. I'd already seen quite a lot of fish, however the water was getting way too shallow for me to snorkel, so I decided to head a little bit further out. There are some big rocks just there and there, and if I get really close into them you should be able to see some fish underneath the little crevices. And going under these rocks definitely brought me one of the most amazing fish encounters I've ever had, because I got two juvenile black tangs, which is unbelievable, the first tang I have seen in Antigua. And then from under the rock popped this unbelievable grey, orange and blue fish, which I can't identify. I need your help on this one. I've looked everywhere and I just could not find it. This is a very short glimpse of an ocean surgeonfish, which is something I did not expect to see, and to be honest with you, I didn't really see it until I've looked back at the footage. I was then snorkeling around for a while and didn't really see much. However, if there's one thing I've learned since going to a tropical place like Antigua, is that you can turn around one corner and suddenly a place is bursting with life. That was really good. Coming to this cove area here, the water got a bit deeper and the fish were bigger. Now, I saw this really nice brown and white striped wrasse, and I managed to just sit at the bottom for ages and just stay really still, and they all came to me, they weren't too scared. This very striking fish is the four-eyed butterfly fish, which is found here in the Caribbean. It feeds on algae and small invertebrates and are quite elusive, so I was very grateful and also very lucky to see it. I'm trying to move through every single tiny pool, because every single one I'm seeing different fish. So I'm going to move to this one now. And this pool was home to a very small school of sergeant majors. Now, we've seen them a few times and I think it's time to tell you some really cool facts about them, because they're actually very interesting fish. Now, their name, sergeant major, comes from the 5 bold vertical black stripes going down their body, obviously named after the sergeant major in the military. During the breeding season, their males will turn bright blue or purple as they guard their eggs. This colour shift is a signal to other fish to stay away. And finally, they are found in the Atlantic, Indian and Pacific Ocean, so pretty much all around the world. After exploring every single pool in that part of the cove, I decided to move round and I had to climb over some very sharp rocks. But it was worth it because I got to see these two black chromies. So I'd seen a lot of amazing colourful reef fish in the shallow water. However, I needed to see more, so I had to make a change of plan. So far we've seen all the fish taking cover from obviously the bigger fish and the open ocean in the rocks. Now, if we head out further, where obviously there's going to be less rocks and the ocean's going to be more open, we might see some bigger fish. And I was absolutely amazed because the moment I got in the deeper water, I looked down, saw coral and a lot of fish. This tiny black and yellow one is a juvenile French angelfish, meaning it looks different to the adults. In fact, the adults look like this. You can also see about 5 different species under my feet. Well, that was the first day of snorkeling in Antigua. We filmed at the rocks as well as further out in the seagrass. I'll see you tomorrow. That was a very good bit of long snorkeling. I was in the water for about an hour and saw absolutely loads of fish. However, tomorrow I've got a plan to get some close-up footage of a very different type of fish. My plan for today is simple. Get a kayak, do a bit of snorkeling around the area, and then end up on an island. But I've got a plan that means I can film needlefish up close. I can see loads of fish underwater, including the needlefish, which I want to get really close-up footage of. So I've got some thread with me, and hopefully that will draw them in, and we can get some close-up footage underwater. And I think it's fair to say the footage was pretty good, because the moment the bread was in the water, the needlefish were all over it. So the plan is the camera is going to be under the water, and hopefully we'll get some really cool underwater shots of me feeding the fish. Just like before, the bread went in and the fish were all over it. And this was my time to find out what it would be like to be in the middle of a needlefish feeding frenzy. Each needlefish took its turn one by one to have a go at the bread, using their needles filled with razor sharp teeth to grab it. And just like that, the bread was gone. Wow. Look at the roof. With the needlefish footage in the bag, I decided to go out on the kayak with the goal of finding turtles or stingrays. Okay, so we are currently on the water on this kayak, and we are looking for any animals in the water like turtles or also stingrays. You can see up above lots of birds called frigate birds, which are known as kleptoparasites, which is a very long word. I don't know how I've remembered it. However, that means that they go up in the air, they look for birds with food, and they take the food off the birds, which is really cool. Here's some footage of the frigate birds. So I've seen birds, I've seen the smaller fish, but I've not yet seen turtles or stingrays, and I would love to see at least one of them here in Antigua. If we're going to see a turtle, this looks like the best place for it because the water has somehow become so clear. And there's also a little beach area where maybe we could wait. Seeing anything from above the water was very tricky, so I know exactly what I had to do. So we didn't see any turtles down there. The plan is to get in the water now and hopefully we can spot some cool fish. And maybe if we're lucky, a turtle. So I'm going to get my snorkel on and get into the water. Here we go. After snorkeling around for a while, I saw the biggest fish I've seen so far. This, a parrotfish, and I was absolutely amazed. Following my unexpected parrotfish encounter, I got the fish I probably most wanted to see on the reef. This, a yellow tang. This area is much shallower than we first thought. However, I've had some really good encounters. I've seen a yellow tang, a very small one, but still a yellow tang, which is one of my dream fish to find here. And I got it, which is really, really cool. I'm just at this beach area now, it's got really shallow. But despite that, I got right back under the water, and look how many fish there were just under my feet. And then off in the distance I saw a school of about 7 or 8 tang as well as some other fish species swimming with them. Wow, I just got like 5 tangs swimming quite low down. It was quite deep water, but I got them hopefully on camera. This is such a good location. Oh, we've come a long way on the kayak. It was all the way down there where we started. Oh. For now, the snorkeling was over, so I decided to get on the island, have a quick break, and then get back on the kayak. The current is quite strong along this beach here. So far in this episode, we have seen so many fish. You've seen the needlefish, you've seen tang, we've seen damselfish, and so much more. But our main goal is to see either a turtle or a stingray, and that is exactly what we're going to do next. I am here at Cades Reef. At 2 miles long, it's the biggest reef in Antigua and is home to hundreds of different fish species. And I really believe that Cades Reef is my best chance if I want to find a turtle or a stingray. Straight away under the water I was seeing lots of species like this blue-headed wrasse and this yellowtail snapper. Oh wow, I am here on Cades Reef in Antigua. I've already seen so many fish in the coral down below. I've seen wrasse, I've seen tang, and even some much bigger. I think they were snapper. And straight after I saw the snapper and wrasse, I saw a dark purple surgeonfish. And as you can tell, I was pretty excited. As my time on the reef went on, I started to discover the insane amount of biodiversity down here. And whilst it's definitely beautiful, it is threatened. This is due to global temperatures going up. Corals die in warm water because the tiny algae that lives in them and provides food becomes stressed and eventually leave. Without the algae, corals turn white and lose their main food source. So if the water stays too warm for too long, eventually all the coral will be gone. And all the life on the reef needs coral because it offers food, shelter and breeding grounds. So overall, coral is quite important and it's something we can't afford to lose. My time in the water was running out, and I'll be honest, I was starting to get a little bit nervous that we wouldn't get one of our 2 target species, even though we'd seen so many fish and you can't really be disappointed with that. However, this happened. There's a stingray just over here. I'm swimming as good as I can against the current. This was it. This was my chance to see a stingray, and I didn't let it escape me. So here it was then, a southern stingray burying itself under the sand of Cades Reef, a place that has brought me so many amazing encounters. This one was quite a big one. I would say it was about 5 feet wide, meaning it was definitely a female, as they are much larger than the males, who only get up to about 2 feet wide. You've probably noticed by now that the stingray is burying herself under the sand. They do this to hide from predators and to ambush their prey. Seeing a stingray in Antigua was absolutely unbelievable, something I never expected to happen. So I obviously had to have one last look right up close with the stingray. And for this split second I could see every single tiny detail on the stingray, which is something I'll never forget. And just like that, I found myself on the way back to the shore, but with an unbelievable encounter on camera. And that is it for all the fish I saw here in Antigua. I managed to find tang, damselfish, loads of fish down there, as well as some amazing fish, and including a stingray on Cades Reef, the biggest reef in Antigua. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time on Animals with AB.